Today, we're talking about a simple question, but one that makes many people panic. What are your strengths?
Yeah, every time I hear that question, my mind just goes blank. Like, I know I have strengths, but I just don't know how to say them in English.
Exactly. And that's the problem. You're not confused about who you are, you're confused about how to express it clearly.
Right. And then I start overthinking. Should I sound professional? Should I sound confident? And in the end, I just say something very basic.
Let me guess. I'm hardworking.
Yes, and I'm responsible too.
And here's the truth. Those answers are not wrong, but they are too common. They don't help you stand out.
So basically, I sound like every other candidate.
Exactly. And when an interviewer hears the same answer again and again, they stop listening.
Wow, that explains a lot.
But don't worry. In today's episode, we're going to fix this step by step. You'll learn how to turn a boring answer into something clear, confident, and memorable.
And trust me, once you understand this, answering this question becomes much easier.
So, listeners, if you've ever felt stuck, nervous, or unsure in an interview, stay with us until the end of this video, because by the end, you will know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to make the interviewer remember you.
And maybe, just maybe, this will be the answer that helps you get your next job.
All right, let's get into it.
Let me be honest. I want to share something real, something that I think a lot of people can relate to. In one of my previous interviews, I remember sitting there, feeling a little nervous, but also a bit excited, because getting the interview already feels like a small win.
Exactly. It means your CV passed the first round. They already see potential in you.
Yes, so I walked into the room thinking, okay, I just need to do well for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Everything started pretty smoothly. They asked me simple questions like, tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? And I thought, hey, this is not too bad.
That's usually how it starts. Comfortable, even a little hopeful.
Right. And then the question came, what are your strengths? And at that moment, I remember thinking, okay, this is easy. I've prepared for this.
We all think it's easy until we actually have to answer it.
Exactly. So I smiled and said, I'm a hard worker and I'm very responsible. And then I stopped.
Just like that?
Yes, just like that. There was this short silence in the room. Not long, maybe just 2-3 seconds, but it felt very long.
That silence can feel so heavy.
Yes. And then the interviewer looked at me and asked, that's good. Can you give me an example? And honestly, I was not ready for that.
That follow-up question, that's where everything changes.
Exactly. Because suddenly, it's no longer about saying nice words. It's about proving them.
And most people are not prepared for that second step.
Yes, I started thinking in my head very fast. Okay, example, what should I say? But the more I tried to think, the more blank my mind became.
That pressure moment, we've all been there.
I tried to say something like, I always try to finish my work and I take responsibility. But even when I was speaking, I knew it didn't sound strong. It sounded weak, unclear, and honestly, not convincing.
And the interviewer can feel that.
Yes, she nodded politely, but I could tell. I lost the moment.
That's the exact moment where many candidates lose their advantage, not because they are not good, but because they cannot show it clearly.
After the interview, I kept thinking about that question. I asked myself, why couldn't I answer it properly? Because I know I'm hardworking. I know I'm responsible. But somehow, I couldn't make them believe it.
That's such an important realization because in interviews, what you know about yourself is not enough. What you can communicate is everything.
Yes, that was the first time I realized something. Saying I'm hardworking is not the same as showing that you are hardworking.
Exactly. Words are cheap. Examples create trust.
And I think many people watching right now are doing the same thing I did. They prepare answers like, I'm a fast learner, I'm a team player, I'm responsible, but they stop there.
And that's the problem, because those answers are just labels. They don't tell a story. They don't create an image.
Yes, and the interviewer is probably thinking, okay, but how? Show me.
Exactly. How are you a team player? When did you show that? What was the result?
Looking back now, I realize I didn't fail because my English was bad. I failed because my answer had no depth.
That's a very powerful insight. And honestly, this is something many working professionals struggle with, not just fresh graduates, even people with experience.
Yes, because we focus too much on, is my grammar correct? But we forget, is my message clear and convincing?
Exactly. Communication is not about using big words. It's about making the other person understand and believe you.
After that interview, I told myself, I need to change how I answer this question, because I knew this question will come again.
It always comes.
And I didn't want to feel that same regret again, that feeling of, I could have done better.
And that's why this episode is so important. Because if you're listening right now, you don't have to learn this the hard way like Tom did.
Yes, if someone had told me this earlier, I would have been so much more confident.
But the good news is, it's actually very simple to fix. You don't need perfect English. You don't need fancy vocabulary. You just need the right structure.
And once you understand that structure, everything becomes clearer.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to show you next. How to turn a weak answer into a strong one. How to make your strengths sound real and believable.
So, if you've ever felt stuck like I did, or if you've ever walked out of an interview thinking, I could have answered that better,
Then don't skip this next part, because this might be the small change that creates a big difference in your next interview.
trust me, this is where things start to click.
All right, let's break it down.
So, Tom, from your story, I think we can all see one thing very clearly. The problem is not the question. The problem is how we answer it.
Exactly, because when I first heard the question, I thought, this is easy, I just need to say what I'm good at. But now I realize, that's not enough.
Yes, and this is a very important mindset shift. When an interviewer asks, "What are your strengths?" they are not asking for a list.
They're asking for proof?
Exactly. They are asking, "Why should I believe you?"
Wow, when you say it like that, it feels very different.
Because most candidates are answering the wrong question. They think the question is, "What are you good at?" But the real question is, "What value can you bring to this job?"
That's a big difference.
Yes, and once you understand that, everything changes. Because now you're not just talking about yourself, you're connecting your strength to the job.
So instead of saying, I'm a fast learner, I should think, how does being a fast learner help this company?
Exactly. That's the insight. Your strength is not just about you, it's about how it helps them.
I think another mistake I made was, I thought using simple words made me sound weak, so I tried to think of more professional words.
Yes, many people do that. They try to sound impressive instead of being clear.
But then I get stuck, because I don't know the perfect word.
And that's the trap. You don't need perfect vocabulary, you need clear structure.
So structure is more important than vocabulary.
Yes, let me show you something very simple. A strong answer always has 3 parts: strength, example, result.
Okay, that sounds simple, but why does this work so well?
Because it matches how people think. When you say, "I'm responsible," the interviewer thinks, "Okay, but how do I know?" So you give an example. Now they think, "All right, I see it." And when you add the result, they believe it.
So it's like building trust step by step.
Exactly.
I have a question. What if I really don't have a strong example? Like, what if my experience is very simple?
That's a great question. And here's the truth. Your example doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be real.
So even a small story is okay?
More than okay. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I'm responsible, you can say, I'm responsible. In my last job, I always completed my tasks on time, and my manager trusted me with more work.
That's simple, but it feels much stronger.
Exactly. Because now we can see your behavior and we can see the result.
I think I understand now. Before, I was trying to describe myself. Now I'm trying to show evidence.
Yes, that's the shift. And this is especially important for people in their mid-career, because at this stage, companies don't just want potential, they want proof.
That makes sense, because they are taking a risk when they hire you.
Exactly, and your answer should reduce that risk.
Another thing I noticed, sometimes people list too many strengths, like I'm hardworking, responsible, creative, and a team player.
Yes, and that actually makes your answer weaker,
Why?
because it becomes unclear. When you have too many strengths, you lose focus, and when you lose focus, your answer loses impact.
So it's better to choose one or two.
Yes, and go deeper. One strong example is better than 5 empty words.
This is really interesting, because I used to think, the more I say, the better.
But in interviews, less is more. Clear is powerful. Specific is memorable.
I think there's also an emotional part. When I say something like, I'm a hard worker, even I don't feel confident saying it.
Exactly, because deep down you know it's not convincing. But when you say, I worked extra hours to finish a project before the deadline, now you feel it.
Yes, it feels real.
And when you feel it, the interviewer feels it too.
So confidence doesn't come from big words, it comes from real experience.
Exactly. Confidence is not about sounding strong, it's about knowing what you're saying is true.
I think this is a big mindset change. Before, I thought, I need to impress the interviewer. Now I realize I need to help them understand me.
That's powerful, because when you focus on helping, you become more natural, less nervous, more confident.
So let me try to summarize. When answering, what are your strengths, I should choose one clear strength, give a real example, show the result.
Perfect. And one more thing, always connect it to the job.
Right, not just my strength, but why this strength matters here.
Exactly.
I wish I knew this earlier. It would have saved me so much stress.
And that's why we're sharing it today, so you don't have to learn it the hard way.
I feel like this is the moment where everything starts to make sense.
Yes, and now it's time to turn this insight into action, because understanding is one thing, but applying it is what creates results.
So, are we going to practice?
Of course, in the next part, we're going to take a basic answer and turn it into a strong, professional one, step by step.
Nice. This is the part everyone needs.
So if you're still here, don't skip the next part, because this is where you learn how to actually say it in English, clearly, confidently, and naturally.
Let's do it.
All right, now it's time to practice, because understanding the idea is great, but if you can't say it out loud, it won't help you in the interview.
Yes, this is the part where things get real.
Exactly. So let's do a role play. I will be the interviewer. You will be the candidate.
Okay, I'm a little nervous already.
That's perfect. That's exactly how it feels in a real interview. All right, let's begin. Thank you for coming today, Tom. Let's start with a simple question. What is your strength?
I'm a fast learner.
Okay, let's pause here. Is this wrong?
No, but it feels too short.
Exactly. This is a label, not an answer. If you stop here, the interviewer has nothing to remember.
Yes, it feels like I said something, but I didn't really say anything.
That's a very good way to describe it. So now let's upgrade it. Remember the structure: strength, example, result. Try again.
Okay, let me try. I'm a fast learner. In my previous job, I had to learn a new system,
Good start. Keep going.
and I learned it in 1 week.
Nice. Now give me the result.
And after that, I could use it by myself.
Perfect. Now let's say the full answer again.
I'm a fast learner. In my previous job, I had to learn a new system in 1 week, and after that, I was able to use it independently.
That's a strong answer. Let's break it down. Clear strength, fast learner, real example, learned a new system in 1 week, result, used it independently.
It feels much more complete.
And more importantly, it feels believable.
I also noticed something. When I say the second version, I feel more confident.
Yes, because now you're not guessing, you're describing something real. Let's try another one. Same question. What is your strength?
Okay, I'm a team player.
All right. Same situation. Too general. Let's upgrade it.
I'm a team player. In my last job, I worked with my team on a project.
Good. Be more specific.
We had to finish it before the deadline,
Nice. And the result?
and we completed it early.
Great. One more step. Add impact.
And the client was very satisfied.
Perfect. Now say the full answer.
I'm a team player. In my last job, I worked with my team to complete a project before the deadline, and the client was very satisfied with the result.
That's excellent. Do you see the difference now?
Yes, the first answer sounds like a claim. The second answer sounds like proof.
Exactly. And in interviews, proof always wins. That's it. Short, clear, strong.
I think I understand the pattern now. No matter what strength I choose, I just follow the same structure.
Exactly. That's why this is so powerful. Because once you learn it, you can apply it to any job. Preparation reduces anxiety. When you have a structure, your brain doesn't panic.
Can I try one more without your help?
Of course, go for it.
I'm good with people. In my previous job, I talked to customers every day and helped them solve their problems, and many customers came back because they trusted me.
That's very good, natural, clear, and very relevant.
Wow, I didn't expect that. It actually feels easy now.
Because now you're not trying to be perfect. You're just telling your story.
I think this is the biggest lesson for me. Before, I was trying to sound good. Now, I'm trying to be clear.
And that's exactly what interviewers want. Not perfect English, clear communication.
So, if you're listening right now, don't just memorize words like hardworking, responsible, team player.
Yes, that's not enough. Build your answer. Practice your example. Say it out loud.
Because in the real interview, you don't have time to think too much.
Exactly. You need it to come naturally.
I think this practice is really helpful.
And this is just the beginning. Because once you master this question, you will feel much more confident in the whole interview.
So, what's next?
Next, we're going to show you what to do after the interview, how to leave a strong final impression, and how to increase your chances of getting the job.
Nice. Let's keep going.
Let's do it.
All right, so now imagine this. The interview is over. You stand up, you say goodbye, you walk out of the room, and most people think, okay, I'm done.
Yes, that's exactly what I used to think. Once I leave the room, everything is out of my control.
And that's the mistake. Because the truth is, the interview is not finished yet.
Wait, really?
Yes, there is one more step, and it can make a big difference.
Okay, now I'm curious. What should we do?
Simple. Send a thank you message.
That sounds small. Does it really matter?
More than you think, because after interviewing many candidates, most people do nothing. So when you send a short, polite message, you immediately stand out.
So what should we say in that message?
Keep it simple. Don't overthink. Something like, "Thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I'm very interested in this position."
That's it?
That's it. Short, polite, professional.
I like that. It feels easy to do.
And here's the deeper reason why it works. When you send that message, you remind them about you. Your name comes back to the top of their mind.
Ah, so even if they interviewed many people, they will remember me again.
Exactly. And in a competitive situation, being remembered is everything.
I never thought about that. I always focused so much on the interview itself that I ignored what comes after.
And that's why many good candidates lose opportunities, not because they are not good, but because they don't finish strong.
So leaving a strong final impression is not just about what you say in the room.
Yes, it's also about what you do after, your attitude, your professionalism, your follow-up.
What if we don't get the job? That's something many people worry about.
Good question. First, accept this. Rejection is normal. Even strong candidates get rejected.
Yeah, it still feels bad though.
Of course, but here's the mindset shift. Every interview is practice. Every interview makes you better.
So instead of thinking I failed, we should think I improved.
Exactly. And if possible, you can even send a follow-up message like, "Thank you for the opportunity. I would appreciate any feedback to improve."
That's actually very powerful because it shows you want to grow.
Yes, and sometimes they may remember you for future opportunities.
So to summarize, after the interview, we should send a thank you message, stay professional, keep learning even if we don't get the job.
Perfect. And remember, the interview doesn't end when you walk out. It ends when you leave a lasting impression.
I like that. Leave a lasting impression.
Because at the end of the day, skills matter, experience matters, but how people feel about you, that's what they remember.
So if you're watching right now, don't just prepare for the interview, prepare for what comes after.
Exactly, because sometimes that small extra step is what helps you get the job. All right, before we end today's episode, let's quickly go over what we've learned, because sometimes one simple idea can change everything.
Yes, and today's idea is very clear. When answering, "What are your strengths?" don't just say a word.
Exactly. Don't just say it, show it. Use this simple structure: strength, example, result.
And remember, you don't need big words. You just need clear and real answers.
Right, because at the end of the day, interviewers are not looking for perfection. They are looking for someone they can trust.
So, if you take one thing from today, prepare your answers, practice out loud, and be ready to tell your story.
Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. What is one strength you learned to say better today? Write it in the comments below. My strength is...
And if you want us to help you improve it, we'll reply and guide you step by step.
Also, if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Focus English with CC channel.
And in the next episode, we'll continue with more real interview questions and how to answer them naturally.
So stay with us. Your next opportunity might be closer than you think.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you in the next episode.